Hey guys, you've heard me on several of my other videos talking about flipping the question and how important the question asking part is vital to understanding the answer part of your cards. So the cards want to say something, but you want to make sure you're both speaking in the same language. So always remember the question must be worded in such a way. So yeses are positive cards, and when you get a yes, a flower or a sun or something like that, those are indications of yes and positive. And if you get negative cards like snake or a mountain or coffin, that the negative cards will mean no. So very clear, yes and no. And that's why we have positive and negative cards in the system. One thing that came up with somebody recently is she asked whether she should block somebody on a social media site. So her question is, should I block them? And that's a great question to ask, to see what the long-term effects would be, if it would be in your benefit or not. But the problem is then now you're setting yourself up. So yes cards would be positive cards and good things, right? And negative cards would be no. But then you start getting negative cards, which she did. She got the snake and she got the mountain, and she's like, oh my God, it's negative, but that means no, right? Or this is the thing. You have to word in such a way so that the yeses and nos mean what they're supposed to mean, because otherwise the reading can go both ways. If you get those negative cards like she did, it could mean no, and it could mean bad things could happen. Yeah, block them. So you don't get it. It's wishy-washy. You can't make sense of it. So just the way to flip that question would be, should I keep them as friends on social media? You get the same kind of result, the answer you want, but now the cards, if you want to keep them as a friend and you get positive, happy, good cards, positive, happy, good things will happen, no concerns, no worries. If you get the negative cards, it's going to give you those warnings and be very clear about what's going to happen. And now you're not muddled up in the head, which would be like the clouds card, mixed up, not understanding. You would be able to understand better what the answer was. So it's all about understanding the answer, being crisp with how we interpret them. Okay, so should I keep them as a friend on social media? You'll get a much clearer answer. So remember, your question is just as important as the answer that's replied. So now that we've flipped the question and have it in word in such a way, should we keep them on social media? We have the Bluebird Lenormand cards, we have the coffin, the sun, and the book, and the cross, the scythe, and the flowers. So I read these in combinations and pairs this way. So it's about blocking, ending, as it actually feels like quite a burden. It's a long-term burden, but you know what? The victory is in the cut. So it's going to be something that's going to be aching and difficult, but that doing it is actually kind of like where the victory lies. It says do it secretly. As little secretly is the gift. So when you read these two diagonally as the end is the ending is the gift. It's almost like doing this ending creates kind of a relief for the person, though this burden that's going on becomes better outcome down the road if you do this privately and don't brag about doing it or telling them about doing it. Just secretly slip out the back door. So now that we've had the opportunity to read these with the question worded well, let's see what would have happened if we'd gone back to our original question when she said, should I block them on social media? So it starts with the coffin card. So this is one of our negative no cards. So right away it's like, no, you shouldn't. But then it also means end. Stop something. So at the same time, we're getting yeses and nos out of these cards, and we can't interpret these cards clearly. I wouldn't have been able to interpret these cards for her, even knowing this system, because the question was worded in such a way that you've got this conundrum that the cards can mean both things. So that's why flipping the question, now you've got it set up. So should we keep them? Nope. There's your answer right there, and this goes on to tell you why. Much clearer.